One other feature that makes Dart amazing in so many ways is that it has this thing called type test operators. So what a type test operator it really is allows us to check types at runtime. Now, they are relational operators, if you will, but now they use words such as, is, and is not, just like that. Okay? Now, the as is going to be a little bit difficult for us to wrap our head around, so I'm not gonna talk about it at this time because that will include a little bit of understanding about objects and so forth, which we haven't talked about right now. Okay, so I'm gonna just talk about is and is not. Now, these operators, these type test operators, as the name imply, to test and check, like I said, at runtime variables or types, if that makes any sense. Okay, so a good example would be, I could say, for instance, let's say print, and I could say, let's say I'm going to say number is string. What do you think is going to happen? Because we are comparing this to, in a way, we're saying number is string. We should either get true or false. Let's see what's going to happen. It's going to say false, because number is not a type string. Number is indeed an int. Because if you go ahead and change this, in fact, let me comment this out so we don't have all that stuff going on. Let's change this to int. What's it going to say? It's going to say true, because number is indeed an integer, right? Because we said here number type int. If you say bool for boolean, number is not boolean, which means it's going to say that it is indeed false. Now, if I want to add is not, I just say is not with the exclamation mark, you know what's going to happen. It's going to make it true, because now it's going to say number is not boolean. Of course, number is not boolean, because number is indeed an integer. Essentially, the same with the relational operators that we discussed earlier, except now, like I said, these type test operators, as, is not, okay, they are very handy for checking types at runtime. And as we progress in our studies, this will make more sense. But I just wanted to introduce this to you so that it's not a surprise when you start seeing is or as and all that stuff. Okay? I think it's time for us, because what we're going to be learning next is going to be the logical operators. So now is the time I'm going to show you the if statement, what an if statement is. So the if statement is an enclosed expression that we can compare that expression, and depending on what result will be in the comparison of that expression, we'll be able to run certain part of the code or a certain piece of code or logic. Again, that is the basis of all computing. This is not happening. If this is true, check if this is true, or if this is false, or if this is not, if this number did something or change, then let's do something else. So this is what we've been waiting for. I'm going to call this, now let's start with if statement. Likely to create an if statement, it's easy. You just say if, there we go. And then I have enclosing parentheses there, which then means I have to put the expression. The expression could be comparison. In this case, I'm going to say if number, remember this number here, then I can use, of course, some of these relational operators here. I'm comparing. I say if number is not equal to 34, and then look, I'm going to have to enclose inside of our braces there, which means whatever this expression returns, if it is true, then this will run. So I'm going to say print if, let's say, if true, this will run. Let's see. Save and run. Well, it did not run because we don't see anything. In fact, let's go ahead and comment this out here. Let's run again so we're not confused. And of course, it ran, but it's not going to show anything because the compiler never reads this print here, because number is not equal to 34. Is that true? Well, actually, funny enough, number is indeed equal to 34. If we change this to equal as such, if true, this will run, and it ran. That is the beauty here, right? So now we have the capability of doing things or letting our code branch out. So if we say if number is equal to 34, then print it. Now, what do we want to happen if this statement here is not true? Well, we can use an else. Okay? Else, so print else running. So if we go back, change this to not. So now it says if number is not equal to 34, obviously this is not going to run. Else, in this case, since this didn't run, else, it will print else running. Let's see. And there we go. Else running. You see the power here? So we can now start doing all sort of things, branching our code and get things to work just like the first people who invented programming really intended. All right? This is very exciting. Yes, I do understand that for some of you, you're saying, man, this is so rudimentary. But it really isn't, because this is the basis of everything that you do in programming. You are comparing things. You are creating if statements. You are branching out your code so that certain part of code will run if these conditions are met. In this case, if this condition here is met, then this will run. Else, if it's not met, which means if it's false, then the else statement, whatever's inside here, will run. And the beauty too, because it's just one statement there, I don't have to have the curly braces there, it will still work for me. Okay, I can even put in front there, still works. Okay, I can even get rid of this also, put it like that, and save, run, it will still work. But you see, this is not very beautiful, if you will. It's just very confusing. So you are better off to go back and put the way things were. That way it's readable, right? As developers, we want to make sure that we write code that is indeed readable. Okay, so now you have this power. So you understand about variables, you understand about constants, final types, variable types, and you understand about these arithmetic operators. You now understand what a relational operator is, equal, not equal, greater than, and so forth. So you've got a lot of things you can do now. So with this information that you have up till now, you can do a lot of damage, and I really urge you to do so. So go ahead and create a few if statements that will spit out certain information, or a certain part of code will run if a condition is met, and play around with this. It's kind of fun, right? We might as well just keep having fun while we are learning Dart programming language. And if you have any questions, of course, you know where to find me and ask those questions. I'm here for you, folks. All right. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.